Okay, so in this session, I'd like to talk to you about emotions. How do we utilize mindfulness, mindful awareness to manage our emotions, regulate our emotions, to deal with emotions, to be with emotions, however you want to think of it. Because we as human beings, we experience emotions, except one thing is for sure that not everybody around the planet experience emotions in the same way. Different people have different experiences and different concept of emotion because emotion is not inherent in us. It's not something we are born with. The most recent brain studies and brain scanning and all kinds of brain research shows that we are not born with emotions. Emotions are produced via our brain to kind of alert us, to tell us, okay, there's something off in you. It could be hunger. It could be sleepiness. It could be something that one of your budgets are off. And then we learned how to express it from our family of origin, from where where we grew up with the culture, with the family, we learn how to express it. Some people overly express, dramatize, and some people may just completely shut down sometimes. So between over expressing and shutting down, there is a range of, and then some people may have more affiliation or like a tendency towards some types of emotions. Like some people could get sad very easily, some people get angry very easily. The tendency to go to these emotions could be there too. But with this knowledge of with mindfulness, we want to understand that no matter the type or intensity of emotion, the fact is that emotion is an energy in motion. E for energy in motion. Like clouds. Clouds form, and sometimes you look at them, they have a very vivid, like a picture, or they look like something like a turtle or a dog or whatever, right? And then if you watch them long enough, you notice how they're fading away, and you cannot stop it. You wish they sometimes, right? The clouds form so beautifully that you wish they wouldn't change. They would stay, but they do regardless. Same thing with emotions. Emotion is an energy in motion which occurs to us in our body, in our mind, in our heart. And then they have the natural quality of passing. However, they get stuck within us when we start to have to think about why they're here. It's because of this and because of that and because of the other. So and so looked at me this way. That's why I feel unhappy, and they must mean something, and that needs to be resolved. Or my finances are in a bad situation. I feel anxious. That's why, and only I will feel okay if the finances are, you know what I mean? So it's reasonable to have reasons, and it's okay to have reasons for them, except with mindful awareness, we become aware that because I'm hanging on to the reason, and my mind says only when the reason is dealt with, I will be okay, then we can be just unokay, not happy, not satisfied, not peaceful, not joyful until this thing is resolved. And a lot of times it really the thing we think is the problem may not be true, may not be actual. It may not be, maybe just we just it's assumed it's true. And we're stuck with the assumption. So this is my offering to you to think of it, to consider emotions are not a reliable source for knowing the truth. Yes, sometimes you can dig in and find out, yeah, why do I constantly feel this way when I see so and so, for example, right? And then, okay, I have to dig in and figure it out. But generally, emotions are not a reliable source for knowing the truth, the fact, right? And also, when an emotion is uncomfortable, we don't like it. Sadness, anger, judgment, blaming, irritation, frustration, all kinds of emotions are not comfortable. We don't like it. And then the problem is we get caught up with the not liking, the judgment over it, right? When we get caught up with the not liking becomes the problem. And then we get all caught up with what is the problem? Oh my gosh, I hate this. I have to tell you, this word hate is so frequently used by at least the Western cultures. I hate this, I hate that, I hate. And it's like a reinforcement of an attitude that is aversive. I hated that my body does this. I hated that I get this allergy on my eyes. I hate, I hate, right? It's not enough that I have the allergies on the eyes and it's itching and it's difficult. I hate it too. So the hating, right? It's the aversion. And then everything gets more complicated. So there are practices we can do to recognize this, that this is an emotion. You sort of allow for it because it's going to pass. You just give it some room. And then you can sort of get to know it, like investigate to get to know, which is really not so much with your thinking because we are very good at that. We don't want to strengthen that. We want to strengthen a different way of going about it so that you can actually be able to regulate it. So you investigate in your body. Where do I feel this? How do I feel this? Where do I have any sensations I can point to it, right? Could be in the gut, could be in the throat, could be in the eyes, face, could be where is it? Sometimes some place of the body that is vulnerable, that's been maybe hurt or damaged, accident or something, and then some emotion finds its place in that painful place and keeps showing up and keeps making it worse. So we can get to the body, feel it, and then realize, not identifying with it as if this is all you and it's not, it's not livable, it's not changeable. So I'm going to share my screen with you. We have a practice that you can work with it. So here, if you remember, we had the practice of stop, right? Stop as a mindfulness practice. Stop whatever you're doing. You're walking, you're sitting, you're physically what you're doing, or mentally. As you stop the cascade of doing or thinking, you take a breath. Take a good breath, feel your body, and then you observe what's going on right now. Wait a minute, let me see. It's there is anxiety, there is worry, or I'm rushing, or I'm judging, or you observe what's inside you and you observe what's outside. Oh, well, wait, where am I right now? I'm just walking right now. There's nothing going on. The outside environment can bring you back. And then you proceed. You proceed with a sense of open attitude, a kind attitude, right? So if you remember, we covered that. Now, the way I teach the next element, which is rain. Rain is a practice for emotions. I presented as this is an expansion of your observe element in the stop. Okay, so let me see. If, let's see, rain, right? So the practice of rain, the R is for recognize. Recognize what? You're recognizing there is emotion. Emotion present. You're angry, you're frustrated, you're sad, you're depressed, whatever the emotion that you might, call it emotion. That is not neutral. You recognize it. The next step is they say accept. I'd like to say allow. Meaning, you know how I was talking about you don't like it? I hate this, I hate that. Instead of wanting to get rid of it, you give it some room. You allow for this being angry. You allow for the judgment, allow for, give it some room, right? And then as I was saying a couple of minutes ago, is to investigate. Investigate, and you're not investigating with your thinking mechanism because we're good at that and it doesn't get us anywhere. This is a new way. You investigate it in your body, right? How does it feel? Sensations. Do I feel a sensation? There is definitely sensations in this body that you could feel. Guess what? Everything, every experience you have, whether it's mental or physical or emotional or spiritual, whatever you experience happens in your body. And this is not thoughts of kind of metaphysical thoughts or anything like that. It's real. Look, it doesn't happen on a chair outside of you. This physical body is a container of everything you experience. Sounds come through the ear, go through the body, right? Food goes through the body. Whatever you experience externally goes through your body. So everything resides in your body, whether it's kindness or it's meanness or whatever. So you can, when emotion shows up, you like, oh, this is an emotion. Okay, you take a deep breath, you allow for it. Let me see, what is this? It's uncomfortable. And then you kind of sort of, let me see, how does it feel? Is it in my shoulders? Is it in my gut? Where is it that you feel it in your body? So you can become familiar with it, so that the next time the same emotion shows up, you recognize it through, you have another channel to notice it. Now, some of you, or sometimes you may already know this, you may already be connected to that, right? But not really make a connection of, okay, what do I do with it? Right? I see it in my body, I feel it. The next one, N, is to not identify with it. It's just the natural experience, right? It's a natural experience. And so you may say to yourself, you may maybe, for example, a feeling or emotion comes up. By the way, difference between feeling and emotion. A lot of people know, a lot of people don't know. The difference between feeling and emotion is that emotion is the energy of it, and feeling is the sensations in your body of it. Yeah. So when you say, I feel sad, you are talking about sadness as the emotion and the sensation. But most people say, I feel like this, I feel like that, I feel, but they don't really are not connected with the physical sensations of it. So know what you're saying and say what you're actually experiencing, right? Meaning if you don't feel it in your body, then that's something to develop. And this rain practice could give you that. So you feel that okay, so coming back to not identify, you feel sad, you feel depressed, you feel upset, and the identification with it is a sense of like, this is forever. You may not even think about this is forever, but it's a like, I am sad, you know. English is a second language for me, so I think about words more maybe in a different way. So when you say am, I am, it's kind of a definitive kind of a situation, condition. It's like unchangeable, right? So for me, Manijeh, I am a woman. Okay, that's it. You know, in the realm of conventional kind of descriptions and identifying and categorizing and whatever, okay, that's it. I'm a woman, right? I was born in Iran. That cannot be changed. You know, this physical body, the first time I opened my eyes, I was in that region. So, but then when you say I am angry, it also feels like unchangeable, definitive, right? So we want to separate that. I am angry, develop a new language for it, that anger is present instead. Because guess what? When anger is gone, are you gone with it? Do you disappear when anger disappears? No. So who's left? What's left? A lot other than just this moment of feeling anger. This person who was feeling angry is not all there is to me, right? So if we don't identify with it, so the practice of it, the way I would say, is in your meditation or in daily life when you experience it, you go through the rain, you say, this is not me, I am not this emotion. Because a lot of times we can also judge ourselves for being too happy or too excited or too angry or too whatever. Judgment means we are thinking of ourselves as, I am the kind of person. Like Lynn, you were saying, I'm the kind of person who cannot listen. It's not permanent. You cannot be that person forever because you can change it. So when you can change it, you begin to use a different language within yourself and as we encounter other people. The language is, oh, my mind wasn't aware, is not yet skilled at listening well. Not, I'm the kind of person who can listen well. Because then if you're that kind, then what are we going to do? There's nothing we can change. What are we going to do? We don't want to be stuck. You see, language, words, phrasing, the way we say things have great implications. So I'm hoping that with this class, whatever that gets in for you, it doesn't have to be the entire teachings and entire offering needs to get in. But for each of you, something that could be, oh, this is special, this is important, this resonates with me, I'm gonna utilize it. Okay, so that's the practice of what do we do? How do we work with one practice. How do we work with emotions and create some space around them and be able to regulate them as we get better and better at it? Okay, so I'm gonna stop this and see if you guys have any questions, comments.